I won't lie, it's sort of annoying to go through that cave all over again just to fight this one guy. But hey, I made a promise to be thorough when LPing, and goddammit, I'm not going to back down from this. I don't know if the game designers meant for you to come here after doing Blackthorn City, since, well, Route 45 can only be accessed from Blackthorn, not the little, very small part that I showed you in the last video. But still, the fact that the levels are so low here suggests that you're meant to come here after getting the ability to use Surf and Strength. But I really feel like that fork in the road means that they actually meant you to come here later, once you can actually come here without going through the dark cave. After all, there's a million forks in the road on Route 45, and believe me, it's annoying when you want to fight everyone and you have to go back to Blackthorn a bajillion times. I already did so in my Crystal LP, and I'm going to have to do it again here. And boy, am I not looking forward to it. But there's one thing, though. I know that routes 45 and 46 are meant to lead you back to New Bark Town, but by the point when you have the final badge, you've already had the ability to fly straight back to New Bark Town for quite a while. So those two routes, essentially, they're bonus routes. You don't have to go through them at all if you don't feel like it. At least that's the feeling I get, because as I said, you can fly to New Bark Town. Maybe it's just for those people who don't have the ability to fly, so that they don't have to go back through the Ice Cave, then to Mahogany, then to Ecruteak, Violet, Cherry Grove. Yeah, that's a long way home, and I can sort of understand why they would make those routes then, but still, going through the game without fly, not happening, sorry. Anyway, I believe this hiker was the only trainer to fight, so I'll see you over back at Ecruteak. So now that we're done with our little backtracking tour, finally, took long enough, we're actually ready to move on to Route 38, which leads to Olivine, and if you're looking to fill your Pokedex, there are a lot of interesting Pokemon here. You can find Magnemite here for the first time, and you can also find Miltank, Tauros, Farfetch'd, even Snubbull in swarms. Just like Dunsparce, as I said in the last video, you only have a 1% chance of actually encountering a Snubbull without a swarm, but this goes a lot higher if you do have a swarm. And as I've said before, swarms aren't obtained through random phone calls anymore. It's only after the National Dex where they'll talk about swarming Pokemon in the worst radio show in the world, so it actually serves a purpose. But that's nothing I haven't already said before, I think. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, I remember in the last video when I got all ecstatic because I found a Dunsparce in a rock. Well, turns out it wasn't all that rare, because when you smash rocks, there's a small chance that a random encounter will be triggered, and if that happens, Dunsparce's encounter rate is actually 90% in those rocks. I'm dead serious. So, it turns out that I didn't get insanely lucky after all, which is a damn shame. Anyway, I've been thinking lately, Team Preview and Generation 5 competitive battles? I remember when Black and White first came out, and we were all like, oh my god, Team Preview is gonna ruin everything! We're gonna be able to see what our opponent has right off the bat! Because the thing is that before Black and White, one of the main parts of competitive battling was trying to keep your Pokemon hidden for as long as possible. For example, you could use a very, very good counter to the Pokemon your opponent sent out, but the problem is that you haven't sent out that Pokemon yet, and you want to keep it hidden, so you might be interested in actually taking something that's less effective because you've already shown it. Yeah, it went to that kind of extremes. But yeah, Team Preview obviously took all that away, and hang on a second. Is that who I think it is? Is that it? Yeah, it's Troll Boy Chad! Wow, I don't think anyone who saw the classic Pokemon Marathon TSG did back in March forgot at all about this guy. Oh man, that was so much fun. For those of you who weren't there, basically one of the players tried finding a Snubbull for a really, really long time, finally managed to get one, and a few minutes afterwards, this guy calls telling, oh, you know what, there's a Snubbull swarm now. So, yeah. Oh, man, that was so much fun. Sorry if I'm just reminiscing here. It was just, oh my god. Probably one of the top 5 moments in TSG history. That was just freaking hilarious. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, what I was trying to say is that Team Preview, well, it took away the element where you had to, hide your Pokemon. However, it didn't just get rid of an element without introducing anything in return. What happened was that once you start knowing everything your opponent has right off the bat, what you're going to want to do is try to keep some Pokemon alive for dealing with threats that normally you wouldn't have seen yet, because you're going to have to deal with them later on. So it just, changed the whole element of strategy from keeping Pokemon hidden to keeping Pokemon alive for dealing with their sweepers and stuff like that would otherwise completely rape your team if that Pokemon disappeared from yours. So it just goes to show, how we can be reluctant to changes about things that we've taken for granted for over a decade. And I don't know if I've got any Diablo fans in the house here, but what I just told you, even though Black and White's been out for almost a year now, it only hit me smack in the face when, they had their big reveals about Diablo 3 a few weeks ago. One of them was that they completely took away skill points from the game, something that was part of the game since early development, and that was basically just an attempt to bring variety into the game instead of trying to, go the Diablo 2 way and have every single skill point be pumped into the same skills over and over. So, yeah, I won't go into the specifics for people who don't care one bit about Diablo, but the thing is that I think it's sort of the same thing. People are very, very reluctant to see skill points go because that's how they've worked with the Diablo game for the last 11 years, and clicking the shiny plus button has sort of become routine at this point, whereas now stats are allocated automatically upon level up, and skills will improve at each level up. Not all skills, but some of them, as they said before, though nothing is really final, because the beta hasn't even started yet for one. But yeah, the point I was trying to make is that it's far too early to panic. Just because, they're taking away skill points doesn't mean that it's not going to be replaced by something else. And because, as I said, they're trying to make early skills more viable in the end game without having them be completely to mow down everything in the game prior to the end game. But yeah, it's sort of the same thing. If done right, it could actually work really well, because the feeling I get is that they're trying to shift the game from the whole numbers element to a more combat-oriented approach, because they've said it multiple times. Combat will be a lot deeper in Diablo 3 than it was in Diablo 2. In that game, all you could do was, spam the same skill over and over and over, and you'd be able to do just fine. But in Diablo 3, you're going to need to have a lot more variety in your skills, and they're trying to make more than just 2 or 3 skills per class, actually usable in the end game. So, they've said that with a limit of 6 skills that you can have at any time, there will be some very difficult choices to be made. So I'm really, really hoping that it's going to be working out in the end, and I'm confident that it will. Oh yeah, this guy! Sorry about that. This guy here is Baoba. He was the warden of the Safari Zone in Red, Blue, Yellow, Fire Red, and Leaf Green. But he closed it down because, well, it was sort of lagging behind other Safari Zones. I don't know why, because there was no stupid swamp thing in Fuchsia, for one. But anyway, he reopened a Safari Zone past Cyanwood. This is only in Hard Gold and Soul Silver. By the way, it's not in Gold, Silver, Crystal. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna have his phone number, and normally after I beat Jasmine, he should call me, telling me that the Safari Zone is ready. And I think either way you need to beat Jasmine in order to be able to go to the routes that lead to the Safari Zone. And don't worry, I'm going to cover it because I'm going to catch a Larvitar eventually, and since it's not viable in Celadon anymore, the only way for me to find one before Mount Silver is going to be to go to the Safari Zone anyway. Now, this is the Moo Moo Farm. They're in trouble because their milk tank is sick and it won't be producing any more milk. But here's one thing, though. There are plenty of other milk tanks in the farm. You can see them in the meadow south of this building. So if one milk tank is sick, why can't the others just, I wouldn't say help compensate, but they're not in that much trouble if one of their 5 or 6 cows is sick. They can still sell those cows' milk, but whatever. Nintendo logic. No, I'm just gonna... Milk tank looks sad. Yeah, I wanted to talk to the girls before healing the milk tank. And, whoops, sorry about that. They're both saying the same thing. Oh well. So, yeah, I harvested those orange berries earlier on for this exact reason. So, you're gonna need to give it 7. I believe, and after that it's going to be healthy again. And if you go to the house next to this barn, you're going to be able to buy Moo Moo milk, and you're going to be able to buy... it's not like in Pokemon Center where you can buy the... Not Pokemon Centers, though I guess it is Pokemon Centers in Generation 5, but Pokemarts, it's not like in Advanders and you can buy the quantity you need. You can only buy 1 or you can buy a dozen. Which I guess doesn't really matter as long as if you want to buy 99, you don't need to buy 99 separately, so I guess that dozen thing is kind of handy. And the seal case. Seals are little stickers that you can put on your Pokeballs, and when you send your Pokemon out, you can have special effects accompanying the Pokemon coming out. I pretty much never use it because it's a waste of time and money. And the other girl is going to give you a few seals as a reward for actually healing the milk tank. And by the way, even if you're not interested in seals, I strongly recommend that you do this. The reason for this is because Moo Moo Milk is one of the most cost-effective healing items in the game. Remember when I said that the ones you can find in vending machines are good for that? Well, the Moo Moo Milk is sort of a continuation of that. It costs less than a super potion, but it heals twice as much. So if you want a good healing item for like the Elite Four or something, this should be your go-to item. That and Hyper Potions if you're on your second run of the Elite Four when you're really high level, but the level curve is still rather low in this game, so... Oh, got a TM here. TM83, which one is it? Oh, Natural Gift. No wonder I don't remember it. It's complete crap. But, as I was about to say, the level curve is still rather low in this game, so when you're fighting the Elite Four for the first time, it's probably a good investment to buy some Moo Moo Milk, because it's, as I said, more cost-effective than standard potions. And this guy again?! Are you kidding me?! What, does he jerk off to the pictures he takes of me or something? Come on! And the only reason why I'm taking them is, well, you'll see later. So, next time, we're going to take on Route 39. It's a really short route, don't worry. And then we're going to get to Olivine City.